even when it don't feel right. I still wanna party with her, even when it don't feel right. You know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so I'm telling her yes. Though I'm kinda down from the pain in my chest, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy from the stuff I know she likes. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Ay, always down every week, yeah. Know I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, call my bluff. She know what's up, can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, hey, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. We been chillin' on through Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday, when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Always down every week, yeah. No, I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, call my bluff. She know what's up, yeah. Can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, hey, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, yeah. You know I'ma party with her, with her, with her, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her, oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Even when it don't feel right.
Come on over, let's pick up where we left off. You and I had lots of love just to top it off. We can wind and down for days, never let it stop. I just want your everything, baby. Maybe later we can dance, never let it go. Listen to our favorite songs on the radio. Losing up and lose ourselves to this feeling, oh. I just want your everything, baby. I'll be deep under your influence tonight. Ooh, keep it coming, babe. I don't mind another hour. Drinking from your bottle, baby. Calling it wasted love, wasted love. I can't get enough of my baby. I'ma be wasted love, wasted love. I'm spilling liquor on the carpet, on the couch. I feel it dripping from my mouth. Drinking from your bottle, baby. Calling it wasted love, wasted love. Moon is rising and the stars are coming out. But we're missing 'cause we're way down on the ground.
Hey loves, thanks so much for coming by. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming by this topic. So we're going to go ahead and get wisdom. Hey, you guys. So thank you so much for coming by the topic. I appreciate you. So we're talking pros and cons of friends and family in the workplace. And I hope that, I'm not sure if that was playing in the background or not for those on the podcast, but that probably, definitely. Thanks. Yeah. Hey, you guys on Wisdom. Thank you for showing up to the audience so quickly. I appreciate you. So listen, we're about to talk a really good one right here. Pros, cons of friends and family in the workplace, right? So I'm going to talk to you first about some things that happened to me. No, but before I talk about what happened to me, I would like to talk about the lessons of those in my family that are no longer with us. But one of the lessons that were really instilled in us over and over before we were even working, before we even had jobs, we were brought into this, atmosphere of learning how to be in the workplace, right? And there was training that we were given. And in that training, let me do a little something right here for the construction workers. Okay, so I'm sorry, the construction workers in the background, building the dream. All right, so we're building the dream. That's what we're going to call that. So very influential people in my family. For those of you who are friends to the show, you are always listening in. So you pretty much have heard a lot about these different individuals, different times, depending on the topics that we have talked about on the show and on across all of my platforms since 2010. But for those of you who are new to the show, then you will get to know these stories as well. Continue to tune in. I am your host, Dee Shields, motivational speaker. I am also a life coach. I am also a writer and a host of other things, and the hat stays, spinning around in a circle all day due to extreme levels of exceptional diversity, right? So I am your host, Dee Shields. You can follow me on social media. I am Dee Shields. I am DeeShields. If you want to know everything that I do, Google me or Bing me. Hashtag I am Dee Shields. Put that in any of the platforms, socials that you are on, from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram or whatever it is that you like to use, even TikTok, and you should be able to find anything that I'm doing out there. If you don't see me, it ain't about me. Okay? All right. So back to the topic. We're talking pros and cons of friends and family in the workplace. I do want to make sure that I am sharing this out on Twitter. So if you don't mind, will you help me to do this? So let's go ahead and share this on Twitter, because this is a topic that a lot of people are going to be able to relate to. Don't be selfish. Tell your friend to tell another friend to tune in right now, because Dee Shields is live on another topic. I know people like to talk all the trending topics. What are we talking right now? Baby mamas and stuff going on, and secret kids with Herschel Walker. And we are definitely telling you that Beyonce is coming on July 29th and all those other great things. But then there are other topics that are happening with real people in the real world, and we bring it down a little bit out of the celebrity world sometimes, so you can hear these stories and hear something that may help you. Tips that may help you, and you can take this to those, either you're going through it or your friend's going through it or a family member. You can take it to them and maybe get something from it. Okay, so while we are stalling, of course, because we're trying to get the activity on social popping, we're trying to get the activity on social popping. But while we're stalling for that, do make sure that you're following me across social media. I am your host, Dee Shields, and it looks like I have the clear to get started on the topic. Sorry for the delay. All right, so pros and cons of friends and family in the workplace. So my mother, my grandmother, my father, my auntie, these were very influential people. My mother's mom, my Meemaw, you'll hear me talk about my Meemaw. She raised my mother and my auntie. We call them the JBs, but, she raised Joy Brown and Janet Ball, right? So my Meemaw raised them. Her name was Florence Hunter. And she raised them, to just be like very, just Southern belles. There's no way to really say that. But in raising her grandchildren, she prepared us for the workplace in a lot of ways. One of the things that she always did was, they encouraged us to volunteer. So we did a lot about volunteering. We didn't even know that we were like little workers when we were babysitting like whole household of children, 9 years old, but we were being prepared early in life to be responsible enough and trusted enough to be able to do like real duties and carry yourself in such a professional way that someone will ask you to come over to the next place and the next place, right? That's just kind of how we were. So whether we were volunteering to help set up an event or volunteering to watch some kids or volunteering to help clean someone's house or whatever it is that we had going on, there were just things that we learned, and we learned to know your people, know the people around you, know that family member, Uncle Pete, Uncle Pete can't go to all the little professional things that you're trying to do. He may show up with his cigar and his 40 ounce and want to cuss and talk all loud, and y'all might be setting up at the church. Right? So there are things about certain family members and certain friends that can't go into your professional environment, right? But if you are forced to be in the environment, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of that. But there's just certain things ahead of time that we were being taught, and yet I still had to bump my head on the very first job that I had. Even though we were prepared with these lessons since the age of 9 years old, we were taught these things, yet when the real, how life goes, when the real experience hit me, I still didn't hear the lesson until after I had went all the way through and experienced it in such a way to even the police were called. And when I experienced it on that level, then I understood everything that my mother, my father, my mima, my auntie were trying to explain to me. But I didn't, just like a lot of people, we have to hit our head real hard, and I had to bump my head to understand it. But once I got the lesson on that first job, I made sure that I distanced myself, because I did do it again one more time, but it was with my really, really, really close friend. But I did it again one more time, but I positioned myself in a different way so that first experience would not repeat itself. And then after the second time, I didn't do it ever again in life. And here I am at 48 years old. I'm talking about things that happened before I was the age of 21. And I'm at 48, and I learned enough about that to never do it again, right? So we'll share those stories. I have something for you. Make sure you stick around. I shall be right back. For those of you that are on Wisdom, why don't you go ahead and come to the microphone if you want to and share one of your work stories in this break if you want, and we will be back. I appreciate all who are tuned in over here on Wisdom. I have some music going for those of you who are wondering, but I'm trying to make sure that the music is going on in the background and they can still hear me, but just making sure that you guys know you can hear me. Okay, so feel free to do that, and I'll see you hand waving, just like we did the last show. Thanks.
She look like a bad when she walk, girl. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Girl, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Yeah, we get to it, got it stocked up, popped up, got her hand all rocked up. Like 1 carat, 2 carat, more carats. She look carrots like a bunny, got her hops up. Don't care for designer, got her own drip. Don't care for the phones, got her own whip. Don't care for the scene, take her own trip. Guarantee it's for a bag and she walking. She get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bag when she walk. She get to the cash when she walk. She look like a bag when she walk. Girl, do it, do it.
Okay, you guys, so we're back, and I'm going to share this story with you. So thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow me on socials. I am your host, Dee Shields. You can follow me across social media. Hashtag I am Dee Shields to find some of the content or most of the content that I put out. Or you can also just directly follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and you can also find me that way on Facebook. Follow me the same. I am DeeShields. I am Miss Shields. Okay, so listen, you guys, pros and cons of friends and family in the workplace. So my story that happened in my first job, I don't want to say this job because then it's going to give them, like promotions, and they need to come give me a whole, advertising fee for me to talk about them. So I'm not going to talk about them because the company is huge. But it was one of the, it was a job that, back when I was coming through and I was still in high school, I was working this job and I was having to, I was getting off at 1 and 2 in the morning, and my father was coming out there to pick me up, and I still had to be at school the next day, kind of job, and it was fast food, burgers and fries and little meals that make people happy, right? So for those of you who are probably figuring it out by now, but that was my first job. I really like it as a first job for almost anyone. And I'll say this about the organization. That particular organization will prepare you for the rest of the world. It was the necessary first job. So whether you have a month or you could give it 6 months, there are things about the way that company has set up the workplace that you're going to learn a lot of things that will get you through life. Now, I know there are a lot of parents that say, I don't want my child starting in fast food at all. I don't want my child working fast food. I don't want my child to ever be there. But those parents that do not allow your child to experience fast food as a first job, you are also the same parent that failed that child when they had to go work fast food in their 40s and 50s because of a pandemic that we didn't see coming. So just mind your efforts to make your child the most amazing person in the world, and making them think that they're too good for fast food, because when the real world comes and slaps the whole world in the face, that is when they're going to probably need necessary skills like fast food or gig delivery or things like that. But I'm going to get back on topic. So at that particular gig, it was going well. I loved my manager. My manager was named Frank. I worked at the location in Austin, Texas that was in Rollingwood. It was like brand new. I was doing the little birthday parties, and that was my favorite part of the job. And I was dropping fries, and then I would have to do the closing and the cleanup, and I was the drive-through queen. Like, pretty much do that at most of the jobs that I worked at before once I got out of college. I didn't go back to fast food, but I would always make sure that I mastered that drive-through, because I always felt like if you can make the drive-through people happy, they're going to be more likely to go in the drive-through and not come inside the lobby. I know I'm petty. And because I hated the fact that at the end of the shift, you have to clean the bathrooms. And there are some people, the more money they get, they're nasty. Like, they are just really, really nasty. So I didn't like how they would destroy the lobby and the bathrooms. And my manager was extreme OCD. He did not, which was very good. And I kept that from into the workplace into forever. Like, I don't like a dirty desk. I don't like dirty floors at a job. I don't like floors that need to be vacuumed. I want everything vacuumed. I want every desk wiped down. I want, everything organized across the entire office. Like, I took that same thing that I had in fast food life right into the office, because it's just something about when you make your area really nice and neat, then you get better productivity, right? And that was the one thing Frank was really big on about teaching us, And so I'm at this job, and everything's good about it. The vibes are good. We don't have any bad vibes. Like, the entire staff loved each other. Like, everyone was getting along. There was nothing negative happening in our environment. Nothing negative was happening in our environment. Our customers loved us. Right? This was also an upscale area of Austin, Texas. So most of the people that came in there, and they had a bag of money. They're also the type of people that drop their kids and their teenagers off into the fast food joint and drive off and go shopping down at the mall. And you're just a whole, a restaurant full of young people. And it still was maintained, and there was nothing going on. There was no drama, until I decided that my little helpful self was going to have a considered family member come and work with me. And I thought that I had done this person a favor, because she already had like 15 kids and she was 18. You know what I'm saying? No, she didn't really have 15, but it really felt like it. So she had a lot of children already. So since she had a lot of children and she had mouths to feed, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let this person come along, and I'm going to have, I think it's a good thing. You're going to like it. You need to be bringing in some money. I'm bringing in money, and I'm helping my parents out so that they don't have the bulk of, things that come with being a teen girl, right? So I'm helping them out. So maybe this will be good for her, right? And I don't even remember if this heifer had all them kids then. You know how you just can't stand a person so much you don't really care if they die. So literally this person, I helped this girl get this job. And she is like, Anybody watch Peanuts? Anybody like Charlie Brown? Okay, so she's like that person, that little dude with the little dirt cloud that follows him, right? Except for the dirt cloud, she's like, what's following her is negativity. It's a cloud of negativity, and it just goes with her everywhere that she goes. So at the time of my naive, I don't realize that this demon from hell should not be associated with anything that you enjoy. Anything that is professional in any nature, you should never bring her around because she's full of drama. So I really should not have had her around. But that's something, hindsight is 2020. I didn't really get that then. So I tell my boss, Frank, and I'm like, yeah, you can give her a job. This guy, he's like, you know what? If she's anything like you, bring it to the table. So he hired her on the spot, right? When I tell you this female created so much chaos in the time that she worked with us, in the history of the restaurant, in the history of any employee that my boss had ever had underneath him. She created so much chaos and so much hell, came in with drama, had people leaving and crying, had people quitting. It was horrible. And do you know how long she worked for us? Do you know how long this demon from hell worked with us? And I lie not. She created so much chaos. She had people quitting, people crying, my boss mad, the cops came. All of this happened in 48 hours. Not days, not months, 48 hours. Drama. You look up drama, you're going to find this hole. Like, she is literally in that, the definition is going to be there. She is toxic. She is beyond toxic. I talk to one of her oldest children right now, and she puts her through hell. But she was that before that child was born. Like, she is extremely toxic. 48 hours, she had destroyed our whole staff. People crying, customers left out crying, employees quit. You know, my boss is stressed out. He's walking out and leaving us. Like, it was so much drama, and it was 48 hours. 48 hours that I broke my grandmother's golden rule that you do not work with friends and family. Do not work with friends and family. Don't bring your personal life to your workplace. And if my grandmother hadn't have been holy, she probably meant to say, quit the church money. Don't quit the church money. That's what grandma wanted to say. She didn't say it, but she wanted to say it, you know. So do not bring people that are toxic into your money bag. Do not bring those type of people around your money. That's what she wanted to say. But do not bring them into the work. And I'm thinking, oh, naive Dee, you know, that's so mean. Everybody need a job, me, mom. No. I repeat in 2022, do not give toxic Auntie Strawberry a job. Send her to the labor ready line. I don't care what you do. Refer her to Walmart. Do whatever it takes. Do not have her working at your job, because whatever toxic crap she does at the house and your environment, she's going to, without a shadow of a doubt, bring that into your work environment. It is going to happen. And I was like, ugh. And I didn't listen. Not only did my boss fire her within 48 hours, my boss fires her. Fires her. The police are called. A police report is done. A restraining order is put on the chick. It was horrible. And all of this happened on my day off. It happens on my day off. Restraining order, police are called, just all kind of drama went down. This chick, and then she was the same chick that harassing me over and over about where's my check. Girl, they may not be giving you a check, you know? Like, there's probably no check coming for you. It's 48 hours of work anyway, you know? But it was horrible. It was on my day off. I get to the next shift hour for me. My boss calls me to the office, and I was like, okay, you know, I know he's about to talk to me about this drama that went down. It's toxic. It's embarrassing. I'm ready to apologize to him. I apologize to that man in all kinds of ways with the sweetest voice that, you know, I had. Like, I am sorry. I thought that she really knew her situation. She was homeless. She was living with my family. So she needed work. She needed to get out of her situation. She wasn't talking to her family. So I thought that this was going to be something that she could see the good in it, and she did not. So I'm telling him I'm just like, this is what I'm telling you. And I'm ready. And no matter what I said in that office that day, Frank was like, I love you. I love everything that you do. This was great. But I'm telling you right now, you are the reason why that demon came in here. And because you brought her, and I lost employees, and the police were called for the first time to my establishment, everything. He said, because of all this, you're fired too. I was so I got fired for something that happened on my day off. I think that's why I ended up loving Friday movies so much. This demon got me fired because I was the one that referred her. I was the one that I was like, she's a good person. She's going to come. And she tore the whole building down, just burned it to shreds. You know, you would think in 48 hours. So I say again, like my Mima said, do not, what my Mima really probably meant in the essence is it's just best not to do it, because anything that could happen, that's what's going to happen. Leadership is going to look at who brought this person in here. Who's the reason why this person is here? And then when leadership, especially when they get caught up in their fields, and HR has all these complaints and they don't know what to do, and people are quitting because of this person, they're going to be like, who brought this person? Whose person is this? And then you're going to be the person that referred and thought, you know, you probably took your $500 referral bonus too. They want their money back. Like, you're the reason why this toxic person is there. And it could cause problems. So I'm telling you, there are some good things that can happen with people working together, and, you know, teamwork makes the dream work, and made the family work together and pray together and all those good things. But when you have that toxic person and you invite them into a professional environment, you are looking at the possibility that this could go south quickly. And when it does, you are looking at everything that you invested into that job, all the time and hours and everything that you put into that job, you are risking it because of your willingness to be, you know, kind-hearted, you know, and to be good. And that's what made me kind of get like a cold edge in a sense, you know, like, you know, like, I don't think I could do this again. This is, you know, you don't work with friends and family. Every time I'm working somewhere, I'll share about the job. And, you know, if a whole different department is hiring that's like 8 blocks away, 10 states over, I might refer you to the company. You know what I'm saying? But as far as you, and don't tell them I sent you, you know, like, but it's got $1,000 bonus, girl. You need to get that money. I'm good. Just go get the job and go work. You know, like, that's kind of where I stand on the issue these days, because I have seen that thing go south. And I do not recommend that for anybody to bring somebody that's a part of your personal life and then bring them into the workplace. It could go south so quick, and then you are going to be the one, because people love, you know, I shouldn't say people love, just by default, society says birds of a feather flock together. Just by default, society is going to have that mindset. And that's where you end up in that, you know, in that situation where that's what they're thinking. And what more can you really do about it, right? What more can you really do about it at that point? All right, so we're going to also talk about, on this topic of friends and family in the workplace, you know, the main thing that I wanted to share is to don't do it, you know, but let's go ahead and get into the topic of if you're already there, right? So if you are already in that situation and you necessarily can't undo it because it's already happened, and now that person is in your professional and your personal environment, there are some things that you're going to have to do to make sure that the church and the state are separated. That's a phrase, right? Separate church and state. Okay? So church is what you take care of. That is definitely your home. The state is where you go make your money and get your reparations. So when you're getting your reparations, you do not mess up. You do not mix the things that are happening for your home with the things that are happening for your money, right? So you have to now move differently. Okay, because you now have somebody that knows a lot about your personal life, knows the ins and out of your personal life, but that you may not even share in your professional environment, even if you are an open book. But you're not sharing every little detail. But if that person feels that there's something about your personal life that they can share in the professional environment that will give them an edge and a pat on the back to crawl on top of you to get to the top, if they're a negative person in a lot of areas, chances are they're going to take that opportunity as soon as it presents itself, and they are going to go for the gutter. They're going to take you down without any remorse. So you are going to have to move differently. First of all, sage your environment, sage from the house to the home. I'm talking about really put some serious prayer on your home and some serious prayer on your job, because we are going into a recession unlike any other. And that doesn't mean panic, but that does mean be still. So if you're in the business of, I don't like a coworker and I'm about to switch jobs right now, this is not the time to nor like. First of all, I've always said to people in the workplace, I don't care. They'll say, do you like so-and-so? And I always come back with an explanation. Mama D, I don't want to lecture. I just want to know if you like so-and-so. Well, then you don't want the answer, because if you don't want the lecture, I can't give the answer if you don't want the lecture. My lecture on that mess in the job, I do not go to work to like people. I go to work because I like my bills paid. I go to work because I like having the food on the table. I go to work because I like having electricity. I go to work because I like having a roof over my head. I go to work because I like being able to put that expensive gas in the car. So I don't have to personally like anyone. I do not do happy hour. You're not going to be able to get me to do happy hour with people from work. You will get to socialize with me. Come on, let's socialize a little bit away from the work. That's fine. As long as the CEO is paying for the dinner and we all kind of sit down and have lunch, or the CEO pays for an outing, or they're going to, set up dinner. The most recent one we did, the Renaissance Hotel, right? And is that what it's called, in Denver? So so we have a little function like that, and we all sat down at the table and everyone got to know each other. That's cool. But then we all went back to our respective offices, and that was it, right? You're not going to see me meeting you in the after hours at the nightclubs and hanging out and bringing families over to each other's house. That's just not something that I do in a workplace. It's nothing against those who do it. I choose not to do it because most of the time when I'm sitting in an environment around people that do that, whatever drama popped off when everybody started drinking always shows up on Monday morning. And that drama from the happy hour, from the hangout over the weekend, whatever it may be, somebody says something about somebody's husband, mess with somebody's wife, talk to somebody, all that shows up Monday when I'm just trying to have a cup of coffee and I didn't hang out with any of y'all and I have to be a part of the drama. So me personally, I'm not mixing it, but if you are in the middle of a situation where you can't help but the situation being mixed, and you're going to have to move with some real professional decisions, even off work. You're going to have to move real carefully. Mind the people that you share things with. Mind what you share with those people. Be slow to speak and quick to listen to the things that are going on around you. Have a middle eye, that third eye, right? To be aware of all those around you and see where the snakes are, and make sure that you do not share too much with the snakes. And do not spend, if you work with that person directly, especially if you're in the same department or office with the person, do not spend that much personal time with them. Decompress when you go home. Make sure that that person is in another space, especially if you have to show up at work and work with them. You have to have some decompression time. You have to have some time where you shake it off and be rid of, especially if that person is toxic. But be very careful. And then if you know that that person is capable of little petty pranks and antics, whether it's a prank or just messiness, make sure you call a meeting with leadership. The best thing you can ever do is talk ahead of an incident. Look ahead to the future and what ifs, what could happen. So you call a meeting with leadership and just break down without telling too much of your business. Hey, I just want you guys to let you know that this is the situation. And before anything could come up or something could happen, I want you guys to know that I value my job. I value what I do here. I love this environment. I want to retire, even if you don't want to do this. I always say that. I want to retire with this company, you just really make sure that, because if it's good, you're going to get to keep me. But jobs need me like I need them. And if the environment is negative, I'm on my way out, But you always, and just make sure that they know that where you stand. Because that person is not professional like you. That's the reason why you have that leadership position and that person lost it. Right? That person doesn't have what it takes. So make sure that you do the leadership move, jump ahead of the drama, and sit down with the main people in charge. Even if you have to sit down with the HR department and say, hey, here's some things, and I don't know if this could end up, being a mix-up, but maybe it's a good idea if we just move that person to another department, because I really love what I do here, and just continue to reiterate that I love what I have going on here, but maybe that person, the way things are going with that person, they need to kind of be over there, and I need to kind of be over here. Do something like that to make sure that you are taking, and talk to trusted people. Make sure it's in a professional environment. Record it so that, not, all super obvious. But make sure that you are keeping a track of the things that are said in case it comes back. But remember, in today's economy, jobs are a dime a dozen. There are many other jobs out there. You do want to try to get longevity in the recession. You don't really want to do a lot of hipping and hopping. And I say that because a lot of these jobs may cave, and jobs, most of the industries that, especially people that I know, they're in industries that are going to last. And I think it's just so smart that most of my family and friends have chosen careers that are lasting careers that can go through a recession. They say they survived the unexpected pandemic. And since your job survived the pandemic, your job will survive this recession. But just be really ready to not leave jobs because you don't like someone. That is not a reason. Just do what you can to be professional. And I wish I could play that one video. I can't even find it. I wish I could play it for you guys. But the video that went viral of how she sent the email is so funny. Matter of fact, I have it on my Facebook. And what I'll do is I'll put the link on my Twitter for those of you who are not always invited to things that happen privately on my Facebook. I'll put it on Twitter because it's open to all. And you can take a look at it. And she kind of makes that point about Black women in the admin world, because we go through a lot in the admin world. So I hope that I covered everything that I wanted to cover on the pros and cons of friends and family in the workplace. Let's take another break. Wisdom, feel free to come by. Let me send the podcast over on a song break. And you guys feel free to come by if you desire. Come by the microphone to let me know, okay?
Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like, oh yeah, you.
All right, you guys, so that's pretty much it right now. Thank you so much for coming by, Wisdom. I appreciate you guys for stopping in. Let's say hello to those that came by the audience. Hey, Danny, thanks for coming by. Julius, thank you. Wisdom guy, love it. Thank you. Hey, Jean, thank you for stopping by. That's Jean. I was like, hey, Jean, hey, that's my best life retired goals. That's our Jean. Like, she is retired goals for me. From everything, from just being supported. I love the things that she posts in our group. Thank you so much for the things that you post in our E-Write and Focus Facebook group, because you keep us laughing, but you also share a lot of things that we need to know about healthy living. So thank you, Jean. I appreciate you for coming by. I also have to send you a book. I'm going to send you a book. Send me a DM with your address. I want to send you a book. Tracy, thank you so much for coming by. Muhammad, thank you so much for coming by. Helen, thank you. Frankie, thank you. Simon, thank you. Joshua, Katie, thank you. Dan, thank you. Jason B. That made me think of John B. And John B's coming in concert to Austin, and that's so off topic. Chris Wilson, thank you. Babe, thank you. Noble, Ron, thank you. All right, you guys, thank you so much, Wisdom, for stopping by. That's it for the podcast for today. Let me know what your thoughts are. Tweet me. I am Dee Shields. You can also share your thoughts on social. That's it. Let's talk on Facebook. You can also DM me on Instagram. I'm the same across social media. I am DeeShields. I appreciate you. The music stopped. I may take you guys out one more time with a song over on the podcast, but here on Wisdom, I think I'm going to go ahead and close out with you guys. Feel free to send me a DM or comment and give me some additional feedback. Or do you have a story that you want to share? We'll come back and do a part 2. Pros, cons of friends and family in the workplace. That was a requested topic, and hopefully I covered that exactly how he needed that to be covered. We're coming back. Are you guys ready for the next topic? We are coming back, and my sister sent me a hilarious list, but we are coming back with a topic. I think that it's so necessary. I'm always listening to a bunch of podcasts and stuff, and I just never see topics like the ones that I cover. A lot of times the other podcasters will tune into my show and tell me the same thing. Like, you always give me inspiration. Can I share that topic on my show? Girl, yes. Guy, yes. Feel free to steal the topic. What am I? Like the topic hoarder? Like, you can have my topics. I have over a total of, across all platforms, I have recorded nearly 1,000 shows, I think. Topics are endless. This is the chick that has 25 books and written 6 of them. Like, topics are endless with me, and I think it's a gift, and I'm just grateful for it. But look, feel free. Take the topic, go run and do it. Tag me, and I'll come listen and chat with you and your listeners as well. So yes, you can share, take a whole topic, credit me, and then I really like you. Okay, so this one, who raised you? I'm about to go in. Who raised you? Like, there are just some common sense things that I feel like you have to implement in at least the majority of your life. And so we're going to go over this list of things like, do you do this? And if you do this, who raised you? You know, and this, and this, who raised you? So that's the topic that's coming up for the evening. I hope you guys definitely come back to enjoy that also. Hey, Wisdom. Hey, podcast lovers. Thank you so much. I appreciate wherever you listen to your podcast. We are now on audiobooks.com. Thank you so much. We're on Amazon Music Podcast. Thank you. We're on iHeartRadio, of course, Apple Radio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We are also on the Indian station, and I don't know how to say it. I think it's Havan or Havant. I'm going to ask my Indian friends how to pronounce it. Jive, something like that. Okay. So anyway, we're over there in India, so thank you so much for that. And Wisdom, of course, you guys are listening across the seas. So I appreciate every area of the globe that you are tuned in. That's amazing for me, and it definitely meets talking goals. I appreciate you guys. Follow me on socials. I am Dee Shields.